Bow to Mao. Bow to Mao. That's what um, the deep state and their minions and their puppet Joe Biden. That's what they want um, for America. They want total and complete control of everything and everyone, and they want everyone to submit to them like they did in Mao Zedong's China. The whole Bao to Mao, that they would go around with huge pictures of Mao Zedong, and if you didn't bend the knee and bow to him, they were going to beat your ass. So they'd get in their face, bow to Mao, bow to Mao. That's literally what they're looking for. That's what they want here. They want slaves who would just do whatever they tell, whatever their overlords, their masters tell them. Yes, master. That's Master Biden, and they just do it. Well, they've got unfortunately more than half the country who are already slaves, voluntarily to be slaves, got hoodwinked into being slaves. Um, so here's some of the things they're doing to get it done. Agenda 21. This started in the 90s. Agenda 21 is, okay, Agenda 21, just in case you didn't hear it. Sometimes I don't speak as clear as I can. Sorry. So, Agenda 21 is about gobbling up land so that there's less land for farmers and cattle to graze. So, for decades now, the BLM, the actual BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, they've been going around and then just arbitrarily designating huge swaths of land, like 1 million acres here, half a million there, 2 million there, designating them federal land, and they'll just well, this plant life or this little obscure mouse lives there, and we can't have them be disturbed, so we have to make it federal protected land. You know. Meanwhile, some of that was grazing land for cattle. Now, oh, sorry, you can't graze. Or, do you remember in Nevada, many years back, the Bundy Ranch? That what that was all about, because he had been using land for decades, and his cattle would go and roam and eat the grass, defecate, work the soil with their hooves, aerate the soil. So nobody ever in the history of humanity, if you own that land, you don't charge a rancher to come on there. They're doing you a favor. They're keeping the grasses down so they don't have wildfires, and they're aerating and fertilizing your soil so that if you or somebody else wants to come in and make farmland, you've got rich soil. So you don't charge them. It's never been done until our federal government got their hands on it, and now they started to charge the Bundys money. Well, Bundy said, "Screw you! I'm not paying." Paying? No one ever has to pay. I'm not paying. So that's why they came. They said he owed $1 million. They came to arrest him. Well, people came and backed him up, armed, and the feds backed down. And the court case just ended, I think, a couple of years ago, and they won. The Bundys won. Good for them, you know. Um, and then now you see how Bill Gates is buying up a ton of acreage. You have some Chinese buying up land. So more and more land is getting gobbled up and not used for farming or grazing. They're just buying it and letting it sit. So as the country gets larger, we need to produce more food. And they're shrinking the land in which we have the ability to grow the food. And in California and other states, they keep harassing the farmers uh, adding regulations, um, doing ridiculous things to harm them. Um, like there was one in California where his land is basically flat, but then there's one area that kind of slopes down a little bit. They don't have any crops or anything there. It's just kind of a natural little divot. And so when you get a bunch of rain, it'll fill up and be like basically a pond. But then it doesn't take but a week or so or less, and it all goes away. Well, a few years ago, they would come the day after it rains and go, "Oh, you have a pond. Whoa, we see here you don't have a pond registered. Whoop, there's a citation, $1,000." They're like, "What? What are you talking about? It's not a pond. It's just a divot." And so they had to pay thousands of dollars. And so that every time it rained, they were trying to. So they eventually had to, I think, fill the space in with dirt and rocks. And it's like, well, why would they have to? They're not doing anything there, right? So in every little way, they're attacking farmers. The Amish farmers now, the Amish dairy farmers, they're trying to put them in prison for selling milk. Nothing's in the milk; it's just milk, but it's unboiled milk, which is the best thing for you. And it's a private club where you have to be a member, so you know what you're drinking. They're not selling it as pasteurized milk, but it's not. That would be different. That would be criminal. They're not. They're selling it as unboiled milk, unpasteurized milk. What's the problem? There is no problem. They're trying to put them literally in prison for milk. Meanwhile, you see all the criminal activity and they let them go. You see? Okay, so between that and them trying to move so quickly for wind and solar panel power and then electric cars, knowing that um, the power grid is going to be overloaded, right? And then Biden trying to force people to buy an electric car, which most people can't afford. Um, or, if you live up north, wintertime, there's times that you're just not going to be able to use it. Um, and if you live in like Phoenix or Nevada, sometimes it'll get so hot, your car could literally burst into flames because the lithium batteries, you start getting well over 100 degrees and it's beaming down on there, that battery can literally explode and catch fire. So anyway, so most people won't be able to drive those. And so eventually what they're going to do is not just say new cars, but they're going to say no used cars can be sold unless they're electric. Right? They eventually, if they keep getting their way, then they just ban internal combustion engines completely. And it must be electric. Well, that means most people aren't going to be able to drive. Well, now they have more control over you, don't they? You see, that's what it's about. It's about controlling the masses. So, between the green energy nonsense, Agenda 21, I think it's Agenda 30 is I think that's the green stuff. Don't quote me on the Agenda 30. But that's their plan. So if they can get House, Senate, presidency, and then if they can turn some red states blue or get them purple, where they're not really either, they're around 50-50, then they can have virtual total control. And so what they'll do is they'll tell you, okay, well, you need to do this, and that. You need to be fully woke, basically. Bow to Mao. So you need to follow our edict. And if you don't, well, we just turn off your power. Oops, I'm sorry. Did the power go out? Oh, too bad. Right? And then, of course, we will have food shortages pretty quick if that doesn't stop. And as long as you bow to Mao, bow to Biden, bow to the deep state, well, you'll get food. Those who don't, oh, sorry, it doesn't come that way. It's going to different places. So just have patience, and they'll try and starve you out, and that's real. Um, if we don't get control of this country, and I'm here in Texas, so if we don't secede, get control or secede, that's what's coming. That's what they want, and they're trying to push more and more people into city centers because it's much easier to get control over you. I mean, because if you're all in a city, well, they have total control of the power grid. Now they have pretty much control of people's bank accounts. They know what you purchase. Um, so if they don't like what you purchase, they just shut your account down. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do legally because the courts are going to have the backs of the deep state. Right? So cut your power, they cut your. Oh, now you have no money, you have no power. Oh, sorry. Now you're homeless, and then they'll make homelessness illegal, and then they'll round you up and put you in the camps. Well, they'll starve you to death. Congratulations. We're living in George Orwell's 1984. He just got it off by 40 years. It's 2024. I mean, we're almost there. We really are. It's just, it's frustrating how you literally have more than half the country that is just, either they're blind to it or they're just so afraid to challenge it that they just go along. You know, a lot of people have that herd mentality. They go along to get along. In this case, you're just destroying your own self and everyone else with you. So it's bad. So I hope when the time comes, you don't bow for Mao. You know, you don't bow for Biden. You don't bow for Obama, the deep state, any of these ambassadors. Don't bow for Trump. Don't bow for anybody. Never bow to anyone. Never bend a knee to anyone. No man, no woman is worthy to bow to. Only God. That's it. It's the only entity that you bow to. It's God. Anybody, anything else that wants you to bow, you tell them go fuck yourself. Right to their face. I will. I hope you do too. Thanks.